Hello, I wanted to make this video about the Vurtego V4 Pogo stick. I picked this up several years back, and unfortunately I wasn't able to learn it until recently. I figured if I just kept picking it up and just kept trying, bouncing here and there, that I would eventually get somewhere with it, and unfortunately that turned out not to be the case. My highest bounce for several years was 8 in a row, and it just wasn't getting any better, so I ended up sitting down, watching not just the official tutorials, but a couple of the other videos, and found out from multiple sources what I was doing wrong. So the goal of this video is to present those to any kind of beginner out there like myself. Definitely not advanced, but I can do 100 jumps in a row, which is definite improvement. And I wanted to present those so that everything's in one place rather than all over the place. So first off, air pressure. The air pressure is controlled. You pump air into this cylinder. There's a little fitting up here. Online it says to start off with a quarter of your body weight, which for me would be about 45 pounds. I've found 45 pounds to give a stick that's a little bit too stiff, and I don't like it, at least when I was practicing. So what I do is I fill it up with air past where I need it. I put it down, I put my foot on here, and I start pushing on it until I get a little bit of give to it. So I'll just keep letting out air and pushing on it, and right now it's where I want it. And that turned out to be, for me, 25 pounds. 25 pounds of pressure gives me some fun with this thing. So if you don't go high enough, if you have too little air in there, you actually won't be able to adjust the bottom of the stick during your jump to count for when you're falling, and you're not going to have good control. If you go higher than this, you have more time to do that. But honestly, I don't like the feel of this shaft when it shoots down and then the donut bottoms out and it kind of flies you up in the air. It's pretty violent. For me, I'm kind of doing this for cardio, and this is perfect for me. Just a little note, the people that do this professionally and they try to go like 12 feet in the air have 150 pounds plus in the cylinder. It can handle it. It's just harder to get started, because when you jump up on it, you're going to have to balance, because it doesn't have any give to it. When you've got this little bit of give, it helps you get onto the actual pogo. Another thing I wanted to point out is the position of your feet. I go for like a middle position, and then a big thing is, for some reason when I was doing this, I decided I should be back here, or maybe like here, but really I needed to be more here. So what it is your butt and everything's on one side of the pogo. If you don't compensate for that with your body lean over the front of it, well, then you're always gonna be going backwards. So your position is more over it. You're crowding the pogo stick, and you put your knees around the shaft, and that kind of helps balance you, and also they use it for some of the tricks. The biggest thing to me was actually in a comment for one of the official videos, is someone mentioned you need to pull up on the pogo stick while you're bouncing on it. What that does is that makes sure your feet are pushed firmly into the pegs. If not, when you land, if you're not doing that, you kind of do a double bounce. You hit with the pogo, then your feet hit on the pegs, and then you can bounce up, and then it can push you off the pogo. That was my biggest issue, was this double bounce issue. So again, you want to center yourself on this, you want to crowd the pogo, and you want to pull up on the pogo itself. And if you do that, you should be able to do this. So hopefully I can do this the first time since I'm on camera. There we go. Another big issue is the bottom of the stick. So they say you go in the direction that you lean. If you want to go in one direction, you lean in that direction. That's true. If you're going completely vertical and you lean in a direction, that's the direction you're going to start going. But once you start going, the bottom of the pogo is going to start moving like this, because you're leaning, the pogo's leaning. No matter how much you lean in this direction, you're not going to pull the pogo stick back. You need to be more aware of the bottom of the pogo, and then how that angle is going to compensate with what you're currently traveling in. What I'm saying is, if you're traveling in this direction and you want to stop, you need to use your feet and swing out the bottom of that pogo. Do like half at one point, and then the next bounce you're going to have to do the other half, because you've got this forward momentum and you need to compensate against it, and then you can level out. I thought this would be more like riding a bike, that you wouldn't have to pay attention to a lot of things, that it would be more natural. But there's a lot of things you have to pay attention to when you're on this pogo, in terms of trying to compensate for different directions and stuff. I've been pretty impressed with how quickly you can move around on it, how high you can get with it. It's all very cool, but there was a learning curve, and obviously that's why I'm making this video. The final thing I want to cover is just some maintenance issues. So when I bought this, there's something called an oil change that can be done. Basically, you pull this entire bottom piece off, you take out these bolts, and then you use a ramrod, that's what they like to call it, or a rag, or a bunch of paper towels wrapped around a rod, and you wipe out the silicone grease that's inside of here, and you replace it with baby oil gel. I did the oil change because I was seeing this black residue on the shaft of this thing, and what they say is that there's a little bit of air exchange that happens here every time you move up and down, and that can foul up the oil and cause issues in the Pogo. I thought that's what was occurring. That wasn't the fact. Actually, when I pulled it all apart, there's some oiling points in here where they had a really heavy-duty grease that was black, and that's what was giving it this color. The actual inside body of this Pogo did not have any issues. So that was kind of a mistake on my part. I'm not a big fan of the baby oil gel. Everything stinks like baby oil. I prefer the scentless silicone grease, and I'm not really trying to do anything crazy here, so I have no problem just being able to go a foot or two in the air. So that's the conclusion of this video. Just wanted to point out those different points of what can be done. I love this thing. This thing is really awesome. I can get a huffing and puffing workout where I feel like I'm, suffering, which is good, in like 10 minutes. And so I've been trying to do that almost every day. I get out there and I just bounce in the Pogo. And really it was just those couple things, making sure that my balance is more to the front so that it's compensated for my butt, making sure I'm pulling up on the Pogo stick to keep my feet down on the pegs. Those were the biggest parts of it. So hopefully if you have one of these or something similar and you want to get out there and you want to have some fun, this gives you a good start on it. Thanks for watching.